I think I've had like an experience that's really close to what you're describing right now, because I could feel just recently, and it's a quick example, but I was working on something, on a movie that I wrote that I kind of like wanted to come into creation. It's a fun idea that I enjoy, and as I was dealing with the details, something that appeared like a setback happened in the process. So although my initial reaction was
a problem appeared on your path to elicit clarity to promote an even more robust path.
That's what happened. It's
Yeah.
just like
I say that often. It's a good thing that thing that I didn't want to happen happened, because in its happening it brought me to da-da-da-da-da-da. And we want to insert the word clarity here. Clarity is the key word for you, because it's that feeling of clarity. That feeling of clarity is the most exhilarating experience that you ever have. It's that insightful bridging of who you are and what you know with who you really are and what you really know. Clarity in this moment, seeing beyond the what is into the what is becoming. That's what life is for all of us. Not one of us, whether we are non-physically focused right now or as you are in your physical bodies, is ever happy with regurgitation. Not ever. You didn't come just to repeat things over and over again. It's the new that rings your bells every single time. You know that. That's why you're bored with the mundane, with the same old. That's why you want to keep expanding. That's why you want new cameras and new equipment and exposure to new meeting rooms that cause you to have new experiences. In other words, Esther's more alive about these gatherings than she has ever been, because of the sequence of events that's taken place over the last few weeks. So much clarity coming. Clarity equals expansion, you see.
And that really came in form of clarity, because as I looked at the event, on its own, I was like, okay, this is a bad thing. Right away, it kind of looked bad. But then I had a little voice in my mind saying, this is a good thing. It's a good thing. Look into it. It's a good thing. I kept hearing that, and I was like, okay, how is this a good thing?
Well, let us give you something, because we like where you're going with this, but consider this, and then we'll hear you out on this. How about saying it's a thing, rather than it's where I am, in a sort of not so quick to call it good or bad. It's where I am, and therefore it must be good, because where I stand right now is the culmination of all that I have been doing. Oh, the other day Esther was writing. She does that a lot, sits and contemplates and writes. And she was thinking about things that have come before that make where she is so delicious, like pool builders and gardeners and construction people, just looking around her own properties. And then she thought about the roadways to it and all that entailed, the engineering, the execution, the materials. And then she thought about the technology of industry and how that has enhanced. And she was just writing as she was feeling this big funnel of all of the experiences of mankind that all had led to where she is right here and now, in this perfect place, in this perfect receptive place, this place of being the beneficiary of everything that has come before. Not just the stuff, but the thinkers. Not just the thinkers, but the thoughts. Not just the thoughts, but the contrast that produced the thoughts. And so it made her feel more appreciation than she has ever felt in her life for where she stands. But another thing happened to her. She felt worthy. It's like all of that for me, for this moment in time, for me to be here knowing what I know. And then when she took it further, all of the non-physicals, all that which is Abraham, all that which is Jerry, all that Jerry lived before she even met him, all that he came to, that he brought to their relationship, all that they discovered together, all that you brought as these gatherings continue to expand. In other words, all of that, and what's it all leading to right now? right now, where all of your power is, right now, where Source, with more eagerness than Esther can even find words to explain, is focused with you, knowing the potential of your ability to realize it now. Because potential isn't about what's possible, because everything's possible. All things are possible. Possible beyond your ability to even stretch your mind to accept it. But what we want to talk about is what you are in a position of realizing now. Which brings us to the whole subject of today's gathering, which is, what are you doing in the creation of your atmosphere? How are you preparing yourself for your receptivity? Are you complaining? Are you worried? Are you fretting? Are you explaining? Are you justifying? Are you rationalizing? Are you pinching yourself off in all those defensive ways? Or are you open and free-flowing with Source? And are you letting Source answer through you and explode into your mind? You see, you're the thinker of the thoughts that we think. You are the manifester of the thoughts that we think. Until they manifest in your mind, did anyone think them? Did the tree really fall in the forest if there is no sound? In other words, if there is not someone to perceive it, then did it happen? What is realization? What is creation? What is life? It's the realization that you in your awareness bring to it, but not just you in your magnificent physical body, you in your wholeness of who you are. Yeah, we're in on it, and we're interested, and we're eager, and we're excited, and we're with you every step of the way. Where are you is the question.
I think for the most part, I was there.
Sometimes you are and sometimes you aren't. You can always be there more, and that's really the whole point of all of this,
But what
isn't
I'm
it?
I guess
Yeah.
what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that the coming to that event that I kind of feel was kind of guided from something else, kind of like bring me back to it, even though it seemed like a step back, it wasn't.
You can't go back. There's no back. There
Meaning-
is no back. There's no back. There's no regression. There's no less than what is, and there's no condemnation in what is. There's no less than. There's no regression. There's no judgment. There's no you should have been in a better place. There isn't any of that except that you superimpose in order to hold yourself apart from the fullness of what is.
And as soon as I started looking at that way, that was a very joyful,
Freeing. Freeing.
and it brought so much clarity.
So it brought. You started feeling like your Source feels about it. In other words, when you feel exhilaration, that means your opinion and the opinion of Source are dead on.
It just felt like
With
right in
emphasis
line.
on dead.
It just felt like right in line
Yeah.
with where I'm going.
Yeah.
Even though it appeared not to be, it really was.
But you're always going where you're going, and you're never off your path. You're never off your path. You're just sometimes looking at conditions that are making you not appreciate your path, but you're never off your path. You're never off your path. Your path is unfolding. And here's something that will help you. Give yourself a break. Just begin saying, I'm doing the best I can right now in realizing the perfection of my path. Just try a little bit to realize the perfection of your path, rather than it's a step backward, or it's not moving as fast as I want, or it doesn't have these details. Instead, I'm right where I want to be. The timing is perfect. The timing is perfect. Isn't that perfect timing? Bridge falls, truck supports it long enough, nobody gets hurt. Perfect timing. Things of this physical world are dissolving, they are evolving, but timing. You have the option of what you call perfect timing. Timing, synchronization, rendezvous. Hear the harmony of those words. So the first harmony or rendezvous that you're seeking is that of Source. Timing sometimes could be a condition. In other words, I need something to happen in such and such a time. You can turn timing into a condition that will bite you in the foot.
And I think right on, because what I noticed that I was doing, I receive these ideas.
Yeah, I rendezvous with ideas.
And I love it. It's just like so much fun. I get these great cool stories and like I want to do, and then I get very excited. It's just a fun process, okay? And then
Path unfolding, path unfolding, path unfolding.
really great.
Yep.
I think I might get a little overexcited sometimes, and I tend to try to fill in my own grid.
Maybe.
And now I'm kind of discovering how
What you
it
wanna-
feels
we
to
can-
let it happen.
And let us just give you these words, it'll help it. I want to realize my path rather than go find my path. My path is coming to me, and I'm preparing myself for the realization that it's there.
Big difference.
It's a big difference. My path is coming to me. Am I realizing it? Have I created the mood or atmosphere that allows me to see it? And once you get on that trail, once that starts happening, it feels like there's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path. That's that feeling of momentum that you get. There's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path, and there's the path. And what Esther began to notice is not only is she now able to feel that's a piece of the path, and that's a piece of the path, and that's a piece of the path, but whoops, I just stepped off the path. Because you can feel when you're on the path, and you can feel when you're not, but it's just through that comparative feeling. It's not that anything ever is awful, it's just that some things are more on the path than others. Some things are more on the path than others. Things that make you feel really wonderful are more on the path than things that make you not feel wonderful. But things that make you not feel wonderful are not off the path. It's just the things that really, really feel good are more on the path, you see? When Kate was little, Esther and Jerry played a game with her. Kate was really little, and the game was Kate would hide something in this big room, and then they would play hot and cold to find it. And she would say, you're getting warmer when they were getting closer to it, and you're getting colder when they would get further away from it. Jerry used to deliberately do the opposite of what, just to play with her, and she would say, colder, 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 colder. Colder, it's colder, Jerry, you're getting colder, which means go the opposite way of where you're going. And if they would listen, since she knew where it was, if they would let her guide them with warmer, colder, warmer, colder, warmer, colder, they found it every single time. And that's how it is with your inner being. Your inner being knows where it is. But your inner being not only knows where it is, your inner being knows which path has the probability of satisfying the most things that are in your vortex. Sometimes the most direct route is what you think you want. Sometimes the most beautiful route is what you want. Sometimes the route that meanders you in a place that you've never been is the route that you want. But your inner being always knows what you want and what the priorities in that vortex are, and is always guiding you to your greatest satisfaction every step of the way. You just got to practice this a little bit so that you can feel the vibe of the trail.
How's the inner being guiding me to that? Like how?
By holding steady the vibration of where you want to be, so that when you step away from it, you feel colder, and when you step toward it, you feel warmer.